The time is 12 noon and you're watching news analysis live on Politics and Business TV. Many thanks for joining us on today's program. The top stories. Nigeria Labour Congress fought fresh petrol price as says the federal government is insensitive. Ex-First Bank boss Onasanya dismisses fraud allegation. And Wema Bank to reward 131 customers with 11 million naira. Details coming up shortly. Welcome back and thank you once again for joining us on today's program. My name is Amina Idris. Now the details. The Nigeria Labour Congress has frowned at the recent hike in the pump prices of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, describing it as the height of insensitivity against the masses. Senior NLC officials disclosed this in separate interviews with the media on Sunday as oil marketers refuted being blamed for the recent hike in PMS nationwide. Similarly, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery also said the rise in petrol price was not from the $20 billion Lekki-based plant, but due to an increase in the cost of crude oil, the major component for refined petroleum products. Last Friday, the pump prices of petrol rose to between 1,050 naira and 1,150 naira per litre, following the hike in the cost of the commodity by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and the various depot owners. Dealers confirmed that PMS price would continue to rise since the major component in fuel production, which is crude oil, has been on the upward swing lately. Meanwhile, a former managing group director of First Bank, Dr. B.C. Onasanya, has dismissed claims of his involvement in a commercial loan transaction carried out 12 years ago at the lender. Onasanya refuted the allegation in a statement signed by his communication advisor, Mr. Michael Oshuniyu, on Sunday, wherein he described the claims as baseless and an attempt to tarnish the reputation of the retired banker and chartered accountant. Last Thursday, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission filed charges against Onasanya and 3 others at the Federal High Court in Lagos for allegedly obtaining a 30 billion naira loan under false pretenses. The anti-graft agency said the defendants would be arraigned on Monday. The 3 other defendants are a former chairman of First Bank of Nigeria, Oba Otudeko, an ex-board member of Honeywell Flour Mills PLC, Soji Akintayo, and Anchorage Limited, a company linked to Otudeko. He claimed that the matter in question was investigated 8 years ago by the EFCC, 2 years after Onasanya retired from the bank. In the vein, Otudeko, in a statement, dismissed the allegations against him, vowing to defend his reputation. This is news analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business TV, Abuja. Still to come, Wema Bank to reward 131 customers with 11 million naira. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us. It is still news analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business Television, Abuja. Moving on, Wema Bank will reward 131 customers with 11 million naira in cash prizes during its first 5-for-5 promo season 4 monthly draw of 2025 in Warri, Delta State. This was revealed in a statement made available to newsmen on Sunday. Among the winners, 80 will receive 25,000 naira each, 40 will take home 100,000 naira each, 8 domiciliary account holders will win 250,000 naira each, and 3 customers will pocket 1 million naira each, with 1 millionaire guaranteed to emerge from worry. Similarly, Fidelity Bank PLC has announced the appointment of 3 new members to its board of directors following approval from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The appointment, effective January 14th, were disclosed in a regulatory filing on the Corporate Disclosure Portal of NGS Regulation Limited recently. The new appointees include Abdullahi Mohammed as an independent non-executive director, Obiako Okam as a non-executive director, and Sufiyanu Garba as an executive director. Alhaji Mohammed brings over 36 years of experience in financial services, public administration, and human resources development, having held key leadership positions at institutions such as First Bank of Nigeria PLC and Polaris Bank Limited. Okam, currently the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Skycove Nigeria Limited, has more than 30 years of experience spanning the banking, financial services, real estate, and retail sectors. She has held leadership roles at Zenith Bank PLC and Citibank. Garba, on the other hand, has over 3 decades of multifunctional and cross-border experience at leading financial institutions, including Access Bank PLC, Union Bank of Nigeria PLC, and Keystone Bank Limited. Commenting on the appointment, the chairman of Fidelity Bank, Mustafa Chikeobi, said the board welcomes these distinguished individuals and looks forward to leveraging their extensive experience to drive the bank's strategic objectives and further its growth trajectory. And for sports, let's connect with Abel Sunday for updates.
Good afternoon and welcome to P&B Sport News. I'm Abel Sunday. Arsenal's match against Aston Villa ended in a 2-2 draw at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday. Gabriel Martinelli scored the opening goal for Arsenal in the 35th minute, followed by Kai Havertz's goal in the 55th minute. However, Aston Villa staged a stunning comeback with goals from Yuri Tillmans in the 60th minute and Olis Watkins in the 68th minute. The draw has significant implications for Arsenal's title hopes, leaving them 6 points behind Liverpool. Arsenal pushed for a winner in the final minute, but Villa held on to secure the draw. Now to Liverpool. Liverpool secured a trailing 2-0 win over Brentford at the Community Stadium. The match was heading for a goalless draw until Darwin Núñez scored twice in stoppage time to seal the 3 points for Liverpool. Núñez's first goal came in the 91st minute and he added another just 2 minutes later, securing a vital win for Liverpool. The win pushed Liverpool 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. That's all for sports today. I'm Abel Sunday.
Welcome back. Minister Yilwatda raises alarm that his ministry is struggling with insufficient funds as the allocated fund to him in the 2025 budget is insufficient, according to him. Join us after a quick break as we discuss this with today's guest. Stay with us. Welcome back. Minister Yilwatda has urged the National Assembly to increase the 2025 budget allocation for its ministry to address critical humanitarian and poverty reduction needs. Speaking last Friday during the review of the 2024 budget and the 2025 budget defense with the National Assembly Joint Committee on Humanitarian Affairs, Yilwatda highlighted the ministry's ambitious targets, including creating 2 million jobs in 2025 and training 50,000 unemployed graduates and non-graduates through the Skill to Wealth initiative. He appealed to the National Assembly, stating that the current 4.6 billion naira capital budget ceiling would be insufficient to tackle rising humanitarian challenges, combat poverty, and address acute malnutrition. In response, the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Humanitarian Affairs, Senator Idayat Oluranti Adebule, and her colleagues assured the minister that the proposed budget for the ministry and NSIPA would be carefully reviewed. Similarly, the chairman of the House Committee on Humanitarian Affairs, Abdul Qadir Tijani Yobe, commended Yilwatda and the Minister of State for their proactive approach. Now let's talk some more on this with our in-house economist, Malam Yushra Aliyu. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on today's program, sir.
Thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you. So I'll begin by asking, why are ministers rejecting the sum allocated to them in the 2025 budget? I mean, so many ministers, from Minister of Housing, Minister for Environment, and now the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs have come out to reject the sum allocated to him in the 2025 budget, saying it's insufficient to tackle all his affairs in 2025. What do you have to say on this?
What I have to say is simple. Inflation has eaten off most of the allocations. It has eaten off most of the allocations, purchasing power. Therefore, for anybody to succeed in his mandate, there is need to be properly funded and at the same time to be critically distributed. Therefore, the ministers have enough reason to make that decision.
So this inadequate funding and the need to review the allocation to different sectors, is this can this be realized? I mean, how realistic is this with the economic reality?
It is realistic because some ministries are well funded, some departments are well funded, others are not well funded, and the National Assembly has understood the gap between and they want to amend it. And that is their job, to scrutinize the budget, to look at the input, to look at the allocation, and also to look at the content. And therefore, since the ministers are having probably their first experience or second experience in executing this aspect of mandate, it is a good one, and it is coming at the right time.
All right, so now let's talk on the federal government at large. I mean, different sectors keep complaining about the poor budget allocation. Do you think that the FG should consider cutting down some of these ministries?
No. Nigeria is a large country. Nigeria has a very functional sectors of the economy, and they are all critical to development purposes. They are existing for a long period. There has been a reduction in the size of these ministries, and also there is also the creation of new to tally with the economic challenges and the reform agenda of the government. So what is more important is just to understand the scope of revenue generation, to also understand the aspect of investment and also the priority of the investment, and then make right adjustment.
Okay, so now let's talk about the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs now. In his statement, he said he plans to create 2 million jobs in 2025 and even train 50,000 unemployed graduates and non-graduates under the Skill to Wealth initiative. How realistic is this?
It is realistic based on the need for the economy. There is need for a lot of injections, and this injection can only be established through a welfare scheme, which can quickly bring back the lost hopes into the economy. Remember, last year's budget was a budget of renewed hope, and this year's budget is budget of restoration. So in an aspect to restore jobs to the right people and also to restore confidence to the right consumers. It is realistic, but it has to do with a lot of factors that include accountability, sincerity, and sustainability of whatever commitment that is involved.
All right, so now, I mean, you made mention of the necessities of these ministries, considering the large number, considering how large Nigeria is. Now, I want to ask, what are really the necessities of these ministries? I mean, in the Ministry of Petroleum, you have another ministry. In the Ministry of Education, there is another ministry. What are really the necessities of these ministries?
When you mention petroleum ministry, that is where Nigeria is driving most of this foreign revenues directly, and is accounting for the highest percentage. If you have minister under that, is a step in the right direction. You have also mentioned housing. Nigeria has a very large population that require facilities to have shelter, and if you have a minister for that purpose, is also realistic. Nigerian common people, that is the greater number of population, are feeding from the agriculture, either in terms of cropping system, or in terms of irrigation, or in terms of plantation, or even livestock. This is the first time we are having a livestock minister, and I think it is an attempt in the right direction. Like I told you, Nigeria's economic size is big. Nigeria is trying to be $1 trillion economy by 2030. Nigeria also is trying to replace the economy. So all these things are the component at which you measure, and you now drives data, and then establish a good economic stand in terms of gross domestic product, which can be used by any economy in the world to relate with Nigeria in terms of trading, in terms of investment, in terms of FDIs, and many also aspects of economic growth and development.
All right, Malam Yusra Ali, you are in-house economist. Thank you very much for joining us on today's program. We appreciate.
Thank you, Amina. Thank you.
And that will be the size of the program for today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Idris Amina. Bye for now.